Welcome to the Explainer. Today, we're going to break down the entire journey data takes inside Microsoft's Power BI. We're talking from a totally messy spreadsheet all the way to a slick, interactive report that actually makes sense.
So, at its heart, what is Power BI really about? It's about taming that absolute mountain of information that businesses are sitting on, right? It's about cutting through that feeling of data overload to find the real story that's kind of hidden inside all that noise.
So, how do we do it? We're going to follow the exact four-step journey any analyst would take. First, get and prep the data. Second, build a model. Third, visualize the story. And finally, share it so it can actually make an impact. All right, let's dive right in. Step 1. This is often the most critical part. And let's be honest, it's definitely the least glamorous. It's not just about, grabbing an Excel file or connecting to a database. It's about that essential, nitty-gritty task of cleaning it all up. And why is that so important? Well, because data never arrives in perfect shape. I mean, look at this. A super common issue. A name with extra spaces at the beginning and the end. You might think, so what? But trust me, these tiny little errors can cause huge problems later, creating fake duplicates and just wrecking your entire report.
Okay, so this is where the Power Query editor comes into play. You should really think of it like a workshop for your data. It's this powerful engine that's built specifically to handle these exact kinds of problems, to shape, clean, and transform that messy raw data into a rock-solid, reliable foundation.
And inside Power Query, it's actually pretty easy. With a simple function called trim, you can instantly zap all those extra spaces across like thousands or even millions of rows, just like that. And this ensures that Dylan Williams is always treated as one unique person, which is what makes your analysis accurate and something you can actually trust. So all of this initial heavy lifting, the connecting, the cleaning, the transforming, it all happens right inside Power BI Desktop. This is your main workbench. It's the free application you install, and it's where you're going to build your entire report from the ground up.
Okay, so our data is clean and reliable. What's next? We move to the next crucial step, building the data model. This is where we stop thinking about individual, separate tables of data and start connecting them, essentially creating a cohesive brain for our whole report.
And this brain has an official name. It's called a semantic model. This is where you do things like link your sales table to your product table and your product table to your customer table. You're defining the relationships so they all understand each other. It basically unifies a bunch of different data sources into one single logical structure.
But look, a model is just a bunch of connected tables. To make it truly smart, we have to add our own custom business logic, stuff like calculating profit margin or year-over-year growth. And for that, we use a super powerful formula language called DAX. It stands for Data Analysis Expressions.
Now, what's really cool about DAX is that it gives you two main ways to do your calculations. First, you've got calculated columns. Think of these as pre-calculated answers. The math is done when the data refreshes, and the result is stored for every single row. It's fast to look at, but it eats up memory. On the other hand, you have measures. These are calculated on the fly only when you actually click on a visual. They don't store anything, so they're way more efficient for big, complex calculations. And honestly, knowing when to use which is a real game changer for making your reports fast.
Okay, we've done the hard work. We've cleaned the data, we've built a smart model. Now for the really fun part, bringing that data to life and actually telling its story with visuals. And Power BI gives you this huge palette of visuals to play with. You've got all the classics, right? Bar and pie charts for comparing stuff, line charts for tracking trends over time, maps for anything geographical, and one of my favorites, the simple card visual, which is perfect for just screaming out a single critical number, like total sales.
But the real magic of a Power BI report is that it's interactive. And the slicer is the perfect example of this. It's just a simple on-screen filter, but it means anyone, your boss, your colleague, anyone, can just click a button for a category or a date range and watch the entire report update in real time to answer their specific question. It's brilliant.
But we have to remember, the goal here isn't just to make a dashboard full of pretty charts. A great report actually guides the viewer through a narrative. It uses those visuals to answer key questions, to reveal surprising insights, and to tell a compelling story that leads to a really clear conclusion.
So you've found this amazing, game-changing insight. But what good is it if it's just sitting on your computer? It's only useful if you can get it to the right people. And that brings us to our final, absolutely essential step, sharing and collaborating.
So how do we do that? Well, we have to move from our local workshop, Power BI Desktop, and publish our report to the Power BI service. Think of the service as the secure, cloud-based gallery where you put your finished work on display for others to see and interact with.
And the service gives you a few really flexible ways to share. You can use workspaces, which are great for teams that need to collaborate on building stuff. You can bundle your best reports into a polished app to send out to the whole company, or you can create dashboards, which are perfect for giving executives that high-level single-page summary of the most important metrics.
So, let's just put that all together one more time. The entire end-to-end workflow is pretty simple when you think about it. You build a report on your own machine in Power BI Desktop, you publish it up to the Power BI service in the cloud, and then you share it with your audience so they can explore the data themselves.
Okay, so we've walked through the 4 technical steps, the how. But let's just step back for a second and ask why. What does this whole process actually achieve? What's the real-world impact of doing all this?
Because this isn't just some theoretical exercise, right? There was one company that by implementing these exact kinds of data-driven processes managed to get an 18% increase in global sales in just the first year. I mean, that is a direct, measurable result that comes from telling a clearer story with their data.
And that's the whole point. This structured flow, from messy, raw data all the way to a shared insight, that's what builds trust. It's how you transform a bunch of disconnected numbers into a single, reliable source of truth. And that's what lets leaders make confident, data-backed decisions that actually move the business forward. Look, at the end of the day, every single piece of data your organization has, it has a story to tell. This 4-step process we just walked through, it gives you the grammar, the tools, and the stage to find that story and share it with the world. So the only question left is, are you ready to tell it?